Al pie del Ávila majestuoso, a 920 metros sobre el nivel del mar, en un valle de verde geografía que se abre de este a oeste, surge Caracas, la capital de Venezuela.
And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Go get some!
What's going on, fellas? My name is Rafael Chacines, known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome to another episode of The Comeback Club, because we're back because right now we're going to bring the Thunder and Lightning for a preview, which I just wanted to tell you, folks, because this Saturday is going to be so electrifying. So lace your boots, and we're going to Houston, Texas to preview the UFC Fight Night on Houston, Texas, where the main event is going to be Sean Strickland versus Anthony the Fluffy Hernandez. So right now, here we are, me and, of course, my co-host Zion Zenith. We're going to bring the Thunder and Lightning. So how's it going, fellas? Because right now it is a perfect Thursday. So how you guys feeling about it? So right now we are ready.
Yeah, let's get it, man. Happy Thursday to you, my friend. Happy Thursday to you, Daniel. Thank you so much for being in the chat, my man. I'm so excited to talk MMA tonight, my friend. Let's get it.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do the preview between UFC Fight Night. Make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho and Zion Zenith on YouTube. And, of course, you can always talk about the comments, whatever is good or bad. Right now, let's just get it started with the main card event. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you this right here is going to be so electrifying that everybody's bothered about it. So, first and foremost, we got Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. Now, between for terms of striking, Pereira should be superiority on the feet, more Berset on the feet, while Reese can be like really dangerous. So I don't think that technique could be like technique. He can match it up. And between for wrestling and grappling, we don't have the idea how the grappling and wrestling is going to be looking here. And I think maybe Reese can be more controlling, but Pereira has a little bit of own style of chaos to make it real messy. And Pereira should be out everyone's pick here, because I understand about for the losing streak is more scarier than the vegetables, but Reese is not on that level of Pereira. Can he win? Sure, but it's mixed martial arts, so there's gonna be like a lot of upset right here. So there's gonna be like a lot of fate. I don't know what's gonna happen, folks, because Reese, to be honest, right now, Reese is one of those worst fighters in that division. I know it sounds really harsh, but they give me like a record and all that, but his wins has been like against horrendous opponent. Sean McVay was at a short notice, so I believe that both fighters were too prepared for the opponent charge. And Pereira is on a losing streak. And his worst loss was against Cal Dacuz, where he lost within the first minute of the first round. So he was under the tier between 2023, 2024, 2025. Those are the least raise of concerns. But I don't know what's going to happen for that fight, because Pereira is far from a lock, and he can give the upset. So the fight should be like considered like a safe, but I found like very risky at all. I think Pereira is a superior fighter, and if he doesn't get this chin tested, but near the middle of the uppercut, anything can come for a lower angle or upward trajectory, since Reese is a little bit taller than Pereira. So He should be able to control for that fight. I think you're muted.
Thank you. Yes, Reese
All right.
definitely needs to control the distance in this fight. He is on a 2-fight win streak. But that being said, he's going against someone that is on a 3-fight losing streak. 3 fights that two of them
Mhm.
he just got knocked out, and one of was a TKO stoppage. But I'm gonna have to agree with my co-host on this. I just kind of think like when we see these veterans, we've seen this storybook a lot of times. Pereira has been fighting the best competition in the world for a really long time, whereas in Reese, he is an up and comer. Now, the Savage, you're gonna have to go in there and you have to prove why. This is a perfect prove it fight for me, right? This is a perfect fight with Reese. You should go in there and you should take Pereira out in the first 2 rounds, or at least win by decision. But I can also see a scenario where Pereira is fighting for his UFC contract. His contract is on the line, so he kind of wants it more. And I think he's gonna fight a way more smarter fight. He's gonna utilize his takedowns. This guy does have. I was just looking back on it to check my stats. He does have 11 knockouts in his career, so it doesn't. It's not like he can't go out there and get a knockout as well. I think I'm gonna pick Pereira by decision. I think the veteran shows up. The veteran is gonna be in the best shape that we've seen him in a while, and he's gonna reverse that 3 losses into a win. We've seen this book a lot of times where a lot of people pick the young up and comer, and the veteran just says, "Hold up, your time is not yet." And look at those 3 losses. They're against tough level competition, way tougher level competition that Reese has ever seen in his MMA career, and that's what fight is important to me because it takes these kind of fights to really take Reese's career to the next level. Can you prove it to us fans that your career is ready to move up the ladder? And I'm gonna say, I think Michael's gonna come in here and I want to say shock the world, but probably get the win by decision. So I'm gonna pick Michael Pereira.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm just going to choose Michael Pereira by knockout, but I think it's going to be like a really good upset. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, right now we got for the another fight coming up there for the main card, and this one is going to be really interesting. Jacoby Smith versus Josiah Harrell. So between for the striking, Jacoby Smith, I'm going to tell you for this right now. He's a terrific, fantastic striker for someone who's got a extensive background in wrestling. So I don't really think that two of the fighters, Padway approached Smith, winning that fight, will execute this striking even more because Harrell is going to have it already to take downs too. And for the wrestling and grappling, Smith trains alongside at the greatest one of the most prominent wrestling gyms in the current era, which is the AKA. So those fellas have the great wrestling and has the great wrestling coaches. So there might be bias, but I don't think it's going to happen between for this right now because Smith is coming off back wins against Parsons and Price. So it's going to be like a lot of confidence that they're looking so much special here. And for those guys who didn't know about AKA, it means American Kickboxing Academy. Really highly disciplined when it comes to wrestling. It's his background. He used very effectively, but also comfortable with his boxing. Everybody what he does is not very wasted. It's up to the subsequent attacks. And Harrell is going to be like a really interesting one. It was a win against Miller Giller, which I find it very crazy, not because it was a good win. He was the exact opposed. In fact, his last win was like Legacy Fighting Academy, and he looked somewhat okay during the fight. But the only one that stood out, he had this look. He looked like very easy to hit. But I just wanted to tell you, being the shorter fighter, he can neutrify in the wrestling of Smith, but unless he used to gain leverage at off balance a newcomer. But I cannot see that as going for like no doubt about it. But I just think that he's well too rounded, too well trained, and is going to fight Harrell without any regard of what Josiah Harrell is going to do for that case. So give me Smith. Give me Smith knockout round number 1. Oh, you're still muted.
I have to remember to unmute myself. Yeah, I think
Oh yeah.
we're 2 for 2, man. I think I'm gonna follow you on this one as well. When you look at Jacoby, he's just a better fighter. He fought the better resume. He has the better stand up. He has the better skills in the octagon. When I look at Josiah, there's a lot to prove. He's coming from regional circuit fighting. He had that one fight in the LFA, but at the end of the day, the regional is a different game than the UFC, and it's gonna be his first fight in the UFC, mind you. So does he get UFC jitters? I'm gonna have to go with the lock of Jacoby Smith. I mean, like he's probably the lock of the week, and I'm gonna probably ride with Jacoby Smith on here. So give me Jacoby Smith first round knockout as well.
Oh yes, yes, it is right. All right, so let's start. We got for the heavyweight division, and I think it's gonna be really interesting between Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. Now, this one is gonna be really interesting. For striking, I think that in terms of striking, he definitely favors Elijah here because he can strike with disrespectful intent. He wants to end the fight quickly. And I suspect that he can do if Spivak's striking defense doesn't hold it up. And for wrestling and grappling, this is where Serge Spivak should thrive. Am I right? But if he cannot get the fight to the ground, which they don't know if he will or won't, Elijah had a lot of mysteries surrounded, but it's gonna be like an interesting fight. But each one of those expected to be a part like a lightning quick start for Elijah. Because to be honest, Spivak, he used to be the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. He tried a few years ago a lot of decent wins of the record, but it seems like that style had become too fucking predictable. Too predictable. And any change in the style, it seems like making it like sloppy, but I think it's something very special in that division. But when I just look at that fight, that I can really understand then why he would put against Malaysia, because Spivak is historically like a lumberjack. Slow starter, he does well to get fights on the ground, which they need to get the fighter to the ground, but he's gonna have to do. But Delancha is coming up for a terrible knockout loss by Walter Cortez Acosta from Dominican Republic. And the whole fight was like a really messy. Spivak possessed a lot of much of threat on the feet. And he needs to do like to keep this fight standing. He can achieve success in the field Spivak. Now, some people that could yap about Elijah, but he's considerably had 2 fights in the UFC. Both fights ended at the first round. But I think his boxing is very aggressive. He strings together combinations exceptionally with somewhat of a rare little heavyweight division. But you cannot level change effectively when being pressed back. It is gonna have to do with that working. So it's gonna be like a fun scrap. But I think that Anton Elijah is gonna blow up with a knockout round number 2. Because I just wanted to expect it, remain on the feet, and I think we see the gun right now because they wanted to expect like the Spivak to tie it up against, but I think between for the first and second round, you'll be expect the Sergey Spivak get really gassed out. So I will to choose Elijah round number 2 knockout because he very aggressive on the feet.
Well said, well said. I was leaning with Elijah as well, but then I thought about it, and I'm gonna lead my Speedback. I'm gonna take the polar bear in this one. Reasons being is because Elijah, like you said, just came off of that knockout just less than 3 months ago. So has his brain fully recovered yet? Now I can see him certainly piecing up Sergey in there, but I just think that with the experience and the people that Sergey has fought. I just think that he has the better resume than Elijah. At that point, I think he's gonna weather the early storm and eventually take him down and eventually hold him down or try to work for a submission. So I'm actually gonna say I'm gonna take the polar bear. I'm gonna say second round submission.
Mm, that's very good. That's really good right now. That's very good. All right. So right now we got for the next one, which is gonna be really interesting, which is for the featherweight Dan Ige versus Ezequiel Costa. Now between for the striking, I will argue for Dan Ige because he's more like clean boxer, high guard, defense, very impeccable. He just ram it on the feet. But Costa, he brings like an orthodox element to that fight because he's capable to so many different strikes, comfortable throwing for all angles, but it's not that very clean on that feet. And for the wrestling and grappling, this is where Costa should thrive on grappling and wrestling. He is the real grappler, while Ick doesn't have the best takedown defense. So the get up is very great. So I will expect a lot of standing up for Ick with intelligent grappling defense. So this is gonna be the fight of the night because it's gonna be really fantastic. But they wanted to expect it to a finish. But I think the strength defense holds like a very doing for the highly intense bouts. So I just wanted to tell you between for this right now. So he was coming out for like a win, loss for the cycle in this career, which is for Dan Ige. He was currently taking some of the toughest fight he can bear degrees of success. His last loss was against Pitbull. He's lost a reason to be well for the end of the fight. They did fall behind and they didn't like ultimately lost by decision. Now Ike has never been finished. And Costa is becoming up for a fantastic win streak behind him because Costa typically used this grappling with he fights that I do expect for like a lot of takedown attempts and maybe a few backs for a fend Wising. With his scrambled on the feet, exhausting his own cardio, defending like the takedowns with enough the arms and the should neutralize. But I think it could be dominate on the mat. I don't think that Costa really can. So I think it's gonna be like really slippery, but Costa's gonna be very quicker. It's just very defensive. So give me Costa by decision. So I just wanted to tell it about it because I just wanted to be like more chaotic. So I will be expected a lot of things more.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I mean, like Costa's on his way up, whereas in Danik is getting around that age where maybe he'll have a second one, not at the title, but just a second one in the UFC. It's hard going against my Hawaiian here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna have to take Costa too. He's on a 5-fight win streak, and many will say, including myself, those are not the best of the best. And Dan Ige been in there with the best of the best. So if you look at the resumes, Dan Ige certainly has the better resume. But there comes a time and a point where you have to take on the next challenge. You have to take on the next step. And I think the rise of Costa over the last 5 fights, him getting better each fight, I think he's ready for a big moment like this, of fighting against a household name like Ige. With Costa, he can become he is most likely becoming a household name in himself. And when he goes out there and he is probably going to be way more faster than Dan Ige. Now Dan Ige, like Raphael said, never got been finished, so he's a tough motherfucker. But I think Costa has the tools to win the fight. Dan Ige is certainly going to get his in. But I think when it's all said and done and all the judges' scorecards, it's probably gonna be a decision for Costa. In my gut, something's telling me to take Danny Gay. So I should listen to my gut, but it's wishy washy here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna take Costa just because my knowledge is telling me to take Costa. But we'll see what happens.
Yep. Let's see what gonna happens right now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we got for the co-main event for the welterweight between Geoff Neal versus Uros Medic. Now, between for the striking, Geoff Neal is kind of like the better striker. First round power is all Medic side here, so they gotta keep an eye on those knockout odds for that round because anytime we go for the first round, he was dependent on all the automatic. Neil should be like the fresher fighter. But between for the wrestling and grappling, it feels like there's gonna be like a primary stand-up bout. Because I'm not really sure if Eurosmed is gonna be really far for that career to give us somewhat poor quality wins. Because to be honest right now, Geoff Neal is coming into his fight again a tough loss against Carlos Prates, which Prates landed for a spinning elbow attack which he put down the welterweight veteran. Now, they just wanted to give like acknowledgement to Neil, what he posted about like his addiction issues of life. It takes a lot to express. It is gonna be great to be open with that stuff. Now, he's now like the most versatile boxer he used to be. He still had this in boxing. Don't get me wrong about this, but his chin durability, it's not the same. He does get it really knocked out around sometimes, but I don't think that Medic could be like a kind of threat to give Neil problems. But the other side, Medic, is someone who struggled to believe he belongs to a co-main event because they needed like a fight. He's a hometown fighter and all that, but Medic, it's not like a high level fighter. He's regional. He has been like at a couple of great wins, but he's not that really awesome. And that makes sense. Like it against the win against Solid Cobb. I'm sure this win to his record, but his wins against Rubina and Means kind of look at the stands of the record because those aren't great wins. I know he's a powerhouse early on that fight. I do see like through heavy, through often, to the wall with him kneel over to just like very uncomfortable, but this is like the basis of the fight. It's just like the simple one. It's for the fans and all the stuff, but I got Jeff Neal by knockout round number 2 because this is gonna keep an eye on it because I know that could be like his best round, but if you want to see like anything could have all this right now, he has to reach advantage to use the jab effectively the first couple that had intermittent strikes. So I would give it like a Jeff Neal for a round number 2 knockout. Oh snap! I think we just kind of look at a lot of technical issues right there. All right.
I'm sorry, brother. So I always mute myself because I don't want to breathe into your take, and then I end up talking before I unmute myself. That being said, Neil, way my better fighter. Up until this point, hold a resume, but I'm gonna have to take yours just because I honestly think that Neil is on his way out soon. He's obviously gonna gonna utilize his jab and utilize his IQ in there, but I just think that coming off of a two fight win streak representing Alaska. I kind of want to see the last guy win. I don't really have a good intake on Midik. I didn't really follow his UFC career or anything like that. But he definitely is someone that I'll be keeping my eye on if he can go out there and if he should beat someone like Jeff Neal. I know Jeff Neal is the favorite. I know majority of the votes are going for Jeff Neal, but I'm gonna have to choose yours. I just think that 32. Right into the beginning of hopefully a prime and not hopefully a prime, but if he does make his prime, I just feel like something's telling me to pick him. So I'm gonna represent Anchorage, Alaska, and he's Siberia. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh yes, let's see what really happens right now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you this right here for the main event is gonna be so much interesting right now. So right now we're gonna talk about the main event, which is gonna be so great. We can talk about for the middleweight bout, Sean Strickland versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Now, in terms of striking, I suppose they both had good striking. And Sean Strickland used the jabs to teach like a lot of professional for a fight round, and Fluffy Hernandez is fairly well rounded, but at his feet has come best of the word for the wrestling and grappling. Now, for the wrestling and grappling, now this one is going to be really interesting, and I'm going to drop a rant. Fluffy Hernandez wrestling might be effective, but it might be predictable. But I think what I know versus visually, it will be effective in terms of to make it look active and busy, but it make it look like he's pushing a pace. So that's what will be expected to heavily winning that fight. So I'm gonna be really intrigued or not to secure a takedown here. So I don't think it's gonna be really easy at all. Sean Strickland is coming off an interest fight for a little bit of rocky record. We don't see him in the fight as often. He used to fight. His prevalence has to be really through like social media because we all know about this. But when it comes to fighting, it's hard to keep like too many props because he often fights with the same style over and over again. A lot of jabs, stabs, steady forward pressure, but sometimes with wild, powerful combinations. That's all about it. I mean, defensively, he's quite good. But that's because offensively, he doesn't allow himself to be like to put in a position that he can be really, 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 really explode. And I think there's going to be so much interesting because Strickland is going to be defending takedowns for Hernandez. And he's going to have to find a way to have to go for the pass kick and everything else. But it seems like it's going to happen so fast. But maybe it's going to be really interesting. But it happens to have the 5 rounds perhaps in a minute of action, but I think it's gonna be like just like a test chat for everything because that's how the comfortable is gonna be win this. Now, between for Hernandez has been strictly known for this wrestling ability, very good, very interesting cardio. He may look at a very sweaty and fatigued, but he pushed all that is still was to the opponent firstly. However, however, if we wanted to see like between for well, Sean Strickland, I think that when it comes to like his wrestling ability, but he has a great takedown. I mean, his base for a wrestling, I believe, has got a great heel flexes, which I means because I know with the games to the sprawl that it takes like a grip it away, but I think it's gonna be like a really lit field. But either out of the way, I don't think that breaking it down is gonna be like a nightmare for the fight. So I really think it's gonna be like absolutely critical. So it's gonna be like really impossible to have it to the clean up with this fight. But okay, absolutely impossible. I mean, if we wanted to see like at everything else for a takedown or wrestling, I will take Anthony Hernandez by decision.
Yeah, Anthony Hernandez is a dog. Definitely has become a fan in recent times. Watching him do his thing out there is absolutely amazing. I know this fight got canceled. I know he was scheduled to fight another person, but he got scheduled to fight Sean. And one thing I do notice is exactly what you said. Sean Strickland took some time off. Took some time after that DPP loss to really reflect on his career. And I kind of think like once it's kind of like people say fame is the most addicting drug because once you get fame, you know how it feels like. Then once you're not famous no more, you forever chase that feeling, right? Now others don't, some don't, but I'm just saying most do. But Sean Strickland, he tasted that title. He had that title ripped away from him. He went back to try to get it back. Failed. The year of reflection, I think, he's gonna come in and he's gonna come in as a changed fight. I'm not saying he's gonna go out there and he's gonna fight totally differently. He's gonna fight the same, but he's gonna fight more composed and he's gonna bring his IQ back into it. A lot of the times people look at Sean Strickland and they don't think that he has IQ, but both me and you know, and a lot of MMA heads know that he has excellent IQ in that cage. And I just think that he is gonna stuff those takedowns. Maybe a few times Anthony gets him down. Sean Strickland's a veteran. He's going to get back up. And I think he's going to piece him up. I'm going to say Sean Strickland, knockout, 4th round.
That's going to really happen right now. But I know because Sean Strickland, he became like the underdog, and Anthony Hernandez has became like the favorite when it comes to like betting. But I think between for like it's well too rounded for Hernandez because if I see like a lot of videos coming up there, but I think that Anthony Hernandez is gonna run through a bit. But if they think that Fluff is gonna run,
Anthony could come out here and maul Sean Strickland. Like, believe me, I can visualize that like it's the clearest of days. But something is telling me like he just got mauled against DPP twice. That year reflection of him not taking the fight, him not that he didn't take the fight, but him not like rushing back to fight. It almost as if it's like that loss mentally hurt him, and he really needs to get back into the gym and put in work. And Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy should go out there, should maul him, right? But what if, in a small universe, in a small chance, Sean Strickland does get fight discipline, and he always fights discipline. But what I mean by that is like, I think honestly, this might be I could be totally wrong. We could be talking next week, and Fluffy could have absolutely mauled him and absolutely submitted him in round 2. But
yeah,
I can see it visually when the announcer's like, "Damn, this is the best version of Sean Strickland we ever seen." Where Anthony keeps on shooting because Sean's piecing him up on the feet, but now Sean is stuffing the takedowns So Anthony has no choice but to strike with Sean. Um, that's why it's gonna be a fun fight.
Yeah, that could be like a lot of great fight. But the last thing we just wanted to talk with because I know that Strickland has to lean back, arms defense when it comes to pressure, but those fundamentals are really solid when it's not chaotic. So I just wanted to really see to Anthony Fluffy Hernandez running up him because if Sean Strickland pulls out of the performance like he did against Imabu, we can see it like at a winning. But we don't know how to do a lot about this because if he had to do something, because I know the Sean and Fluffy resumes are not even comparable because people say like the same when Patty fights against Justin when Patty's best with 38 years old behind Chandler. And Anthony Fluffy's best win was against Allen, who knocked out by Sean. Sean wasn't even good for the last fight because he had stab and Draco Duplessis is better than Fluffy. Even Costa performance against Romero was better than anything has it ever done. I mean, they're leaning towards where he's not good on the feet. He's always truly himself in a position which is really inaccurate. I know that Sean very trickly sound, but I think Fluffy stands a good chance of security takedowns with activity.
Oh, absolutely, and I wouldn't even be shocked if Fluffy knocked out Sean, because Fluffy on paper, but looking at their careers, yes, Sean has the best resume and this and that, but Fluffy should win this fight, right? We both agree. Fluffy should win this fight. This should be a winnable fight for Fluffy. But we'll see what Sean we'll see what Sean Strickland did in the year. Was he really taking it serious, taking the sport serious? Because I
Yeah,
think he was, or was he trying to make a internet name for himself and try to build his clout on the internet? And I don't think it's that because he hates those motherfuckers. He doesn't like doing. He obviously he does it for Nina and he does it around Aiden Ross and shit like that. But at the end of the day, I think this guy's gonna come out and I think he's gonna look like a better version of himself, and that's what he needs. That's why I love this sport because when you lose, you don't take a loss, you take a lesson, and you reinvent the wheel, and you see what we did wrong and how can we fix it. You know, and go out there. And this is a perfect. This is a guy that should be fighting for the championship next in a couple of fights. So it's like you go out there and you take his spot. And who's the best spot taker? In this division when it comes to upsets. Nobody expected him to win against Izzy, right? So it's almost as if like maybe this is me being biased as a Sean Strickland lover, but at the end of the day,
mhm.
pause for real. But like as a Sean Strickland fan, like he's just I love that. Don't give a fuck about the rules. I'm gonna do it my way. Now I know I don't agree with everything he says because he says some crazy stuff, but when it comes to fighting and when it comes to proving himself, he does. And Fluffy, this is gonna be his hardest challenge on paper yet, because of the fact that Sean Strickland has been in there with the who's who of the world, and Fluffy needs to go out there and he needs to seize his moment and capitalize on it. And because the next minute, you're going to be fighting for a championship, Fluffy.
Exactly.
This is your road to the title, so get it done. And Sean Strickland, are you
Yes.
going to try to fast track your way to the title? So get it done.
Exactly. All right. So last thing, we just wanted to wrap it out right now. We just got the rankings coming out there for the middleweight division. At number one, they have Nasruddin Bull, which is the sniper. Number two, Draco Duplessis. Number three, Anthony Hernandez. Also number four, Caio Borralho. Number five, Brendan Allen. Number six, Robert Whittaker. Number seven, Reina de Redier. Number eight, Israel Zendaya. Number nine, Jeremy Cannonier. Number 10, Marvin Vittori. Number 11, Sean Strickland. Number 12, Roman Delitz. Number 13, Paulo Costa. Number 14, Roman Kipolov. Number 15, Michel Pereira. And of course, the current champion of the middleweight is none other than Kasma Chiame as Noah Tabors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you, it's been like a great episode right here. Oh,
Real fast, dude. Shemaya smashes everybody on that fucking list, right? I mean, like, we got
yes.
Shemaya. Don't take it away from Shemaya. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. So we got this comment right here. Hello to everybody new to the show. Thank you very much. And of course, I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys for being here at this episode because right now, I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys. Make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho and Zion Zenith and keep an eye for the next episodes of the Combat Club, because after that, we can do like a recap show between for UFC in Houston. And of course, on February 28th, UFC is coming back from Mexico, where we're going to see the Assassin Baby. Brandon Moreno gets like a lot of fight. And of course, on March 7th, it's going to happen. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira for the BMF title. So you got to keep an eye on the Combat Club, because this is a podcast with 100% extreme attitude. In this club, we're born to fight anytime, anywhere, anyone. It's about energy, discipline, respect, step to the cage, because this is home right now. So enjoy the war. Thank you very much. Great Thursday. And of course, God bless you all. Salute you all. Make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho Zion Zenith. We'll see you there next time at the same hour. Bye there. Let's get it.